Dear viewers, welcome to the channel Islamic Message. The topic that I am going to talk about today is captioned as the spiritual blindness is worse than the physical blindness. Now, what is physical blindness and what is its effect? Everybody knows. See what happens when a man who is maybe 6 by 6 suddenly suffers from some sickness, accident, or anything, and he loses his eyesight, cannot see any longer. Well, what will be the effect on his life? We all know there will be a miserable life for him for the times to come. And the amount of frustration that befall him is beyond imagination. So that is the effect of the physical blindness. You see, it amounts to as if you put a man in the dark room and close the door upon him. What will be the feeling? And with the result that when a person is blinded, unfortunately, the life, outdoor life at least, comes to a standstill. And even the indoor life suffers tremendously. For the daily needs, he has to depend upon others. Eating, drinking, even going to the toilet, it becomes a problem for him. I know of a person, he was a leader of his community where he was living, and a very pious, wise, strong leader. Very wise man, knowledgeable man. With the result that whenever he used to deliver lectures, people used to flock around him to listen and benefit from his wisdom. And when he used to go for Hajj, people used to make all efforts to accompany him so that they may be spiritually benefited and mentally benefited through his knowledge. But when he became, we can say, almost blind, you see, couldn't see anything, then he was confined to within the four walls of his house. And what to talk about outside activity? Even he didn't like the people visiting him very frequently because it disturbs him. Well, that was the result. So the misery that befalls upon a person if he becomes blind is of course very well known to everybody, the effect of it. But then what is the spiritual blindness, and how does it affect a person, or how badly it affects a person? Now, before I talk about the spiritual blindness, let me talk about the spirit a bit. What is the spirit? You see, the example of the spirit can be given to that of a machine which operates with electricity. Now, you have a machine and you switch on the power, the machine starts to function. Its various components become active. The rods are moving to and fro, the wheels are rotating, maybe the cutters are cutting, or whatever the machine is meant for. So the machine becomes active and functional. But the moment you switch off the power, it becomes dead. Even though all its components are still intact, but nothing works. A bit similar is the situation with the spirit and the body. When the spirit in the body is operative, active, functional. But when the spirit is released from the body becomes dead. This is the situation because the spirit is an integral component of the body. The human personality is composed of two things, body and the spirit. And in fact, the spiritual aspect is even more important than the bodily aspect. This is because the spirit will not die. The body will finish. When the man dies, the body starts to decay, deteriorate, fragmentation takes place, eventually it turns into dust. That's at the end of it. But the spirit does not die. It's released from the body and is stored somewhere by the Creator, and it will be called into, be induced into the body at the time of the judgment, at the day of the judgment. And from then on, the process of accountability will start. And in fact, in terms of the spirit, the man is immortal. He's not going to die. He's going to change phases only. So, that is one thing, of course, we must understand about the spirit. The second important thing is that whatever a person does, it has an effect on his spirit as well as body. The effect on the body is, of course, visible because body is visible, but the effect on the spirit is invisible since the spirit itself is invisible. But it is there. So there are many things in this world that we cannot see, but we believe that they exist because of their effect. Current is, of course, one of those things. You can't see the current flowing through the cable, but when you switch on the power, the current flows through the cable, and you can see the effect of it on the machine or whatever it is. Similarly, when a man does an act, it has an effect on his spirit. If the act or the deed that man is doing is good, then it's a positive effect on the spirit. But if it is bad, that's a negative effect on the spirit. But the effect is invariably there. Now, if a man does a wrong thing, let's say he kills an innocent person or takes away somebody's assets, or maybe he speaks lie, these are all bad acts. Now, once a man does that, it has a negative impact upon his spirit in the sense that spirit becomes dirty and becomes, the example of the spirit we can say is like a mirror. If the mirror is clean, shining, the light can pass through it without any obstruction. It's transparent. But when the mirror becomes dirty, eventually becomes opaque, nothing can pass through, so it loses its function. So a bit similar is the case with the spirit. If the spirit is clean and tidy, and it has its function, then it has a function whereby it reforms the person and the body. When a man does a wrong thing, the spirit reacts against that, and in fact there is equivalent word for the spirit is the heart. Heart in the metaphysical sense, not in the physical sense. You see, man's heart is good, basically, but until the man spoils it, it becomes dirty and filthy. By birth, the man, all people have given the good heart, soft heart, heart which feels for the others, but then it becomes blind for the others because of the bad deeds that the man does. So when a man does a bad thing, bad act, it starts to, the spirit inside, the heart inside, reacts against that and initially points out to the body that what you're doing is wrong. There is an inner judge sitting in everybody's heart, which tries to stop the bad deeds. But if the man is overwhelmed by his ulterior motives, by his desires and temptations which he cannot resist, and which force him to do the bad thing and the wrong thing, so then despite the reaction from the spirit and from the good heart, the man violates the instructions and does the wrong thing. So this has a impairing effect upon the spirit. That means it creates a dirty spot on the spirit, mirror of the spirit. Now eventually, if the man is overwhelmed by his desires, bad desires, and he continues to commit sins after sins, then this eventually makes the whole spirit dirty, filthy, and you see, like the mirror, you make it opaque. So it loses its function. Then then it means that the realization, the feeling that the man is doing the wrong thing and that should not be done, that feeling is vanished. And the man gets used to doing that. That's why you see some people who do the wrong thing and don't even realize that they have done what they have done is wrong. It becomes their nature. The good nature is destroyed. And the bad nature is replaced by the good nature. And this is, in other words, the bad spirit. The spirit has been wronged. Now, this is the stage when the man is unable to see the truth. He is unable to distinguish between the right and the wrong. So this state of the person, this situation of a person is such that the man loses his sense of justice. He is no longer a good man, he becomes a bad man. He develops the bad habits because there is no one in his body, no spirit in his body remains to check him for that. And the result is, this is the stage when we call the blinded spirit. The spirit has been blinded. So this is a human being, but actually his beastly instinct overwhelms his personality and nature. He becomes unjust man, a cruel man, a stupid man. Now, this is what I mean by the spiritual blindness. Now, the adverse effect of this in this worldly life is also very obvious. If a man continuously does the wrong thing, he is bound to be caught up one day. It is going to bounce back upon him. He may escape the justice for a few occasions, it's possible, but eventually he is going to be caught up and suffer for this in this worldly life. But the grave consequences will be in the life hereafter, where there will be no going back, no compensation, nothing to stop the bad effect. And there is no chance now for him to reform him. And that is because he has been doing the wrong thing. So once he dies and the life hereafter process starts, there will be unending punishment through which he has to go through. The Creator has clearly mentioned in all his holy books, to all his prophets, that such people who do the bad thing, who do not recognize to start with the authority of the Creator, do not believe in the Creator, and do not believe in helping the people, and they only believe in how to fulfill their desires. Whether desire is good or bad, they don't care. Now such people are living beasts, in other words. They have no humanity in them. This is because they have spoiled their spirit. And they will be condemned to the fire of hell for all times to come. So, my dear viewers, this is the point I think I wanted to bring to your kind notice, that please take care of your body as well as your soul or spirit. And how do you take care of your spirit? By ensuring that you do not do wrong things. And the biggest wrong thing is not to believe in the Creator. So please start believing in the Creator, because that's the absolute truth. The truth, in fact, starts from that point. And then start to worry about His instructions as to what for He has created us, what is our purpose of life, what we need to do, what we need to refrain from, and what is going to be our reward and punishment ultimately when we die. So all this has been clearly told by all religions, especially the religion of Islam. And the last of the prophets, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, came with a book which is everlasting book. I mean, that means it is not going to be finished and till the day of Qiyamah, because the Creator has ensured its safety and authenticity. So therefore, that is the book to be followed. So I request you that while still there is time, you are living, please take care of yourself. And ask yourself a basic question as to what for you have come to this life. Who has given you the life? Who has created you in the womb of the mother? Is it automatic? Is it possible that there is no creator? And from those dirty drops, the human body starts to form all by itself, without anyone doing it. Now this is illogical. So believe in the Creator, and then try to worry about this basic issue as to what for the Creator has given us the life, and what is our purpose of life and what we need to do. I urge you to draw your attention toward this before it is too late, because life is passing very fast. There's only one chance that Creator has given us. Once we die, that will be the end of that chance. So before it ends, please take care of yourself, and thank you very much for listening to this bit of conversation.